Hello, I'm visiting the office of the World Choir Games in Auckland. The city of Auckland will be hosting the world's largest choir competition in July. It's the 13th World Choir Games and the biggest ever. I'll talk to the Artistic and Games Director, Mr. John Russell. Hello, John.
Hello, Tony. Nice to meet you.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
I can imagine that you are terribly busy nowadays.
Very, very busy. And every week, every day gets busier.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can you sleep well?
Well, I'm trying, but in this weather, it's quite difficult to sleep at all, isn't it?
Yeah.
But, well, yes, I don't sleep a lot, but when I do, I'm very tired.
You look pretty tired.
Thank you.
Could you provide an overview of the World Choir Games for those who may not be very familiar with the event, like me?
Yeah. Well, the World Choir Games began in the year 2000.
Yeah.
It was formed by the German arts tourism company Interkultur, and they had already been running festivals in Germany and taking German choral tourists to Turkey, and that was very successful to not Turkey, sorry, to Hungary.
Oh, yeah.
And that was very successful to them for them, and then they decided to expand into Europe, and then gradually to the whole world. And so they run festivals all across the world, competitions and festivals. But this one, the World Choir Games, is the biggest by far. It's their flagship event. So 2000, and it's been going every 2 years since then. And of course it ran 2 years right through till now, apart from the COVID disruption, when it was held a year and a half later in Belgium and a year later than scheduled in Korea, which I attended this year.
Last year,
yes, which I attended in July last year. Yeah.
Auckland is a home of 1.6 million people.
Yes.
And there are over 220 different ethnic communities.
Yes.
That's why we call Auckland the representative multicultural city in the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What inspired the hosting of the World Choir Games in Auckland?
Good question. We had already applied back when I was chair of the New Zealand Choral Federation. In 2016, we applied for the World Symposium on Choral Music. And that's a different kind of festival from the World Choir Games, but it's the other big festival in the world. We won that, and we were going to be holding it in 2020. Well, I don't need to say to anybody who was alive in 2020 what happened to it. We were devastated that we had to cancel it, having done 4 years of work on it. But fortunately, we were approached by our major funders, MB and Tātaki Auckland Unlimited, to say, okay, well, you couldn't do the symposium, but we know of this event that's 5 times bigger, because it involves choirs as much as conductors, and would you like to help us put in a bid for the World Choir Games in Auckland in 2024? So we said, well, we're not doing anything else at the moment. We're in the middle of a lockdown. So yes. And we applied. It took us 4 months of application, and we won it. I suppose that's what inspired the hosting of it. But of course, we've come to understand the event much more in the last 3 years, and we are now inspired to do it anyway. And having just been in Gangneung in Korea, we were able to see how the games worked, and we're very excited by it.
You had been to Gangneung.
I have.
Last year.
Yes.
How was it?
It was fabulous. It was great to go. It was lovely to go to. I've never been to Korea before, so that was a really great experience. It was good to see how well they organised it. They had this amazing sort of surrounding, sort of round screen that was, I think, sponsored by Samsung.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have that, but we have our own things that we can bring to our games. Yeah.
Auckland is the largest city where most Pacific people live.
Yes. Yes.
And I know that the Pacific people like songs very, very much,
Indeed.
like Koreans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Are there any notable success or stories or memorable moments from previous events?
From previous games, I mean, because I haven't been to a games before. Before I'd been to the Korean one, I don't know too much of the history about what's happened in the past. But I do know that the sort of highlight, I suppose, for the organisers was the festival that they held in 2014, I think it was, in Latvia, in Riga, in Latvia. They had a gigantic number of choirs, like 420 something choirs.
Oh.
With about 20,000 singers, which was amazing. And that, I mean, that must have been absolutely fabulous. And of course, Latvia and like Lithuania and Estonia, the Baltic countries, just love their choral singing, like Koreans actually. Korea has a fabulous choral tradition, but those three countries, it's so important to them in their cultural life and in their struggles, and so it was they got this fabulous number of people there. And of course, in Europe, people can just take the bus or the train to go to the games. We're not going to get those sorts of numbers, but we'd like to get up there. So yeah. Of course, some of the other memorable moments, I suppose, are the difficult moments for them. Like, I know it was very hard for them in Belgium when COVID was at its worst.
Oh.
And the Belgium people had to postpone twice.
Oh.
But they did amazing work in holding the games online. They got about 70 choirs to actually come there, and all the rest of them participated online. So that was an amazing achievement.
In Korea, as you may know,
Yes.
there are many karaoke's.
Yes, I do know.
And many Korean people singing there.
Yeah. Yeah, and you have K-pop and all that great singing tradition.
Yeah.
In my time conducting the New Zealand Opera Chorus, I met many Korean singers, some coming to perform solos for us from Korea, and some here in Auckland who were in my chorus. Very fine singers. But I hadn't really been aware until probably a couple of years ago how amazing the choir tradition in Korea is. You know, with so many Korean cities and towns having their own professional choir. It's amazing.
Yeah.
We'd love that in New Zealand.
I'm very excited that Auckland is hosting such a big and beautiful event. How many choirs teams participate in the event this year?
Well, I can tell you that so far, so this was when the final deadline came past, but we have extended. Intercultural always extends. They extended for a month. So we're waiting. Next week we will know the final numbers. But so far we already know that we have over 240 choirs coming.
240?
240 choirs. And about 11,000 singers.
11,000 singers. Oh.
It's huge.
Yeah. Do you know how many Korean teams?
Yes, 15.
15?
Yes, 15. That's quite.
All
quite
from
large.
Korea?
All
or
from Korea.
Not Korean?
Not Korean.
community?
Not in Auckland, but from the Republic of Korea.
15.
Yeah. 15.
Good numbers.
It is a good number. Yeah, very good number.
And I think you need many volunteers for the choirs from overseas.
We do, because we want to give overseas choirs the experience of coming into Auckland and feeling immediately looked after. You know, feeling the hospitality, or as Maori call it, the manaakitanga. of our place. So yes, as soon as a choir comes in at the airport and they hop on the bus to go to their accommodation, we want there to be a volunteer or two with that choir, speaking to them in their language and giving them all the information and making them feel happy and safe.
Can I join the volunteers
You can.
for the Korean
You can.
teams?
Yes.
Okay. When you organize a big event, I can imagine that there are many challenges.
Yes, there are, but they are. It's like any event, large or small, like any project. I think as long as you just go step by step by step, and don't get frightened at the size of the event, but just take it, in order, then I think it's manageable. We did good scoping at the beginning to make sure that we could manage this. We knew that we had the venues, that we could assemble the team together. We had experience at running events already, so yeah, it's just about the size. And I say just size is a thing, but once you know how to provide transport and venues for 3 choirs, you just scale up.
All the venues and the hotels in Auckland area will be fully booked.
Yeah. I mean, for the opening and closing ceremonies and the awards ceremonies, they will involve a lot of choirs.
Yeah.
So they're down at Spark Arena. For all the competitions, we will be doing them in, and I'm looking in this direction because it's over there. We're doing them in the Aotea Centre, in the Kiritakanawa Theatre, in the Town Hall across the square, and in the Concert Chamber. Also at St Matthew's behind us, St Matthew in the City, the lovely church there, and in Q Theatre. So we're using 6, 7 of the biggest venues in the centre of the city, all at once, all at the same time. Yeah.
How is the World Choir Games engaging with local communities in Auckland to create a meaningful impact?
Yeah, well, so one of the very first things I did was to start speaking to our Maori and Pasifika colleagues. I formed a Pacific engagement group, or a Pacific advisory group of a lot of the Samoan and Tongan and Cook Island colleagues that I already had from choral music. And of course, as we know, choral music is a very big part of Pacific life. So it was really important to me to get the leaders of those choirs involved and understanding what we were doing and how they could help. So we've been looking at 3 specific aspects with those groups: registration of choirs from those communities, so to have them take part in the games, to be involved in a particular showcase of their culture during the games as a featured concert, and also to be part of our opening ceremony, because that's going to have little segments from each of the cultures here, including the Korean culture. And so that's the Pacifica group. With Maori culture, it's slightly different because the force of Maori performance is in kapahaka.
People might be very happy enjoying Maori culture or Pacific culture.
Of course, because this is the only place in the world that you can hear Maori culture done authentically, properly, and it is the one place in the world you can hear a kind of a pan-Pacific approach as well. So Pacifica people, people who live in New Zealand but come from a whole range of different islands, and hear their culture in the one place. So it's going to be really exciting.
I heard that the pre-exploration team from Korea will visit Auckland next month.
Yes.
I'm happy to meet them.
Well, we will certainly organise a chance for you to meet them. There's a little team, as you say, coming in from Korea, and this is the only group like this that I have met, that we know of so far, but that they're coming in with their influencer with them, and yes, they want to travel around the venues and around the city and do some tourism experiences, just to make sure that the choirs, the 15 choirs that are coming, are going to have a great time, and that they know what they can say to them, and so I think it's a brilliant idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the last question. What are the long-term goals and aspirations for the World Choir Games?
Well, of course, it's not my job to speak for Interkultur, to see what their aspirations are. I'm sure they want to keep going and keep on running really successful festivals all around the world. However, for my team, although, you know, we will disband after this event, we've been in talks with some of our stakeholders, I suppose, and particularly the Pacific Engagement, or the advisory group that I was talking about before. We would love to start a kind of a Pacific region games, you know, that happened every maybe 2 years, and that was held in a different country around the Pacific, and that kept this scope up of this project going. This idea, you know, of having all of the people in our area meet together to have a wonderful choir games.
I hope the event in Auckland will be the most successful ever.
Thank you, Tony. So do I.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
해외에서 경기가 있을 때마다 스스로 다짐하는 말이 있어요. 나는 대한민국을 대표하는 선수이기 전에 대한민국 국민이다. 해외에서 자부심을 갖는 가장 좋은 방법은 재외 선거를 놓치지 않는 거죠. 인터넷으로 쉽고 간편하게 신고 신청할 수 있는 제22대 국회의원 재외선거. 소중한 한 표를 위해 신고 신청하는 당신이 대한민국의 자부심입니다. 중앙선거관리위원회.